Good evening, everyone. Maybe I could start that way. Nice to see you all here, and for those who are joining us in direct on Zoom and on the recording. We're getting close to Christmas, of course. Next week's the 23rd, so I'll just say that I'll check in about who's available to be in person next week. I might just, if nobody comes, I might just do it from home. This is a nice space, nice to practice with others. Let's bring down the heavens in the front. Just allowing this simple movement to shift you from your day-to-day awareness to presence. Presence in your body, presence with others in the room who are joining us for practice tonight. Just sweeping back on the second pass. And in Chinese medicine, all our emotions that are stuck somehow or excessive affect the internal flow. So as you guide the third pass through your body, know that you're scraping through or draining through these stuck energies in your internal organ, making space for awareness, for practice, for movement. Right. So check your posture first. How does it feel to have your feet shoulder width apart? So I was listening to a recording from another teacher, and she talks about creating a bowl here. So there's various ways that this position is encouraged, and mostly it's to flatten the lower back a little bit instead of having this overarch. We want to loosen the hips to create a bowl here. So the lower back goes flat a little bit. Pick up the shoulders and let them come down. And then my weight shifted, so bring the weight back to a little bit forward into the balls of the feet. And noticing whether your arms are kind of just hanging or whether you can let them feel the flow or expand into the flow. So this in itself could be a practice, a Qigong practice, just finding this place of relaxation. And I've shared this before that the more advanced practice sees us in the tree pose, but this Wuji posture itself already invites a different awareness, already invites a different flow in your body. Just by bringing awareness to your posture, yourself, to even what you may have dredged out of your body just with bringing down to heaven, right? The concerns of the day, the occupations of the day. All right, so we're going to warm up a little bit first. So I like to bring focus on the hips. The hips is where most of our movements come from. So if you move your hips suddenly and let the arms catch up, now you're also building relaxation in the shoulders, in the elbows, in the wrists. So we can emphasize the purpose of this or use it to stimulate the body by letting our arms fold. So at the end, let the arm fold so that it lands on one side and the other of the rib cage. And at the back, it stops on the kidneys. So now you're stimulating the liver in the front, stomach, spleen, pancreas on the left, liver on the right, and then the back, the kidneys. There's a lot that happens just from this simple exercise. And if you let your eyes be half open, half closed, so having that soft gaze where your eyes see the room around you, but their focus, your awareness is focused internally. Maybe in your ankles as they initiate the movement, maybe in letting your arms be responding to the hip movement. And then stopping, letting the arms return to Uji posture. Notice what's changed just from doing how this simple exercise activates the arms, activates the torso, the organs that are here, warm up the hips. I'm going to turn around right now. We did that. So there's only one person in this room who has not seen this movement yet. But I wanted also, again, on camera tonight, focus on this simple movement here. So what I'm hoping people are focusing on or noticing is that we're moving from our hips. The shoulders follow the hips. My head follows the shoulders. Essentially, I'm looking in the direction I'm moving away. Return, and again, looking away from where I came. The other detail, or the other aspect of this movement that's really important, is that the knee here, where my weight is over the foot. It doesn't change. As I turn my hips, it stays mostly over the foot. The movement is happening in the hips. And then we're not going to do hands moving like clouds on this. We're going to modify this a little bit. So at the end, let the foot come here. The toes go up. And before you move, the toe goes down and you turn. Now we're loosening up foot a little bit too, the ankle more. It's a bit more complex. So maybe let's just forget this idea. Yeah. So then we'll do the exercise slightly different than what I just suggesting. So we're just going to go here and then here. Now we're not so much focusing on the hips, more on the transfer of weight from one side to the other, and the toe comes up. Then what we're going to do is now have the movement bigger. So letting the arms again respond to this movement. You guys can move in closer, it's, yeah, I mean, the circle works, but we need a much bigger room than this, right? So there's a spot there. Big movement. Okay, one more. And let's return to Uji posture. You bring the feet together, go into frog on the pad. So noticing where your weight falls as you do this. This exercise in part is meant also to stimulate kidney 1, right in the middle of the ball of your feet. Ah, that's right. And that's the idea. So we want to create that movement in the spine. So noticing what's happening in particular in the sacrum and that junction between the hips and the vertebrae, I guess, the spinal cord. And that's a junction that often has a lot of stress. So this movement, this simple bouncing can emphasize or highlight it. So then adjusting your movement so that you can relax that area. So focus on the down, focus on the down, 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 down. So when the muscles start to cramp, is that we're focusing on bringing the body up, which requires muscles. But if I focus on the bounce that happens from the down, the body comes up a lot easier. And then letting the heels come off the ground and creating a vibration through the bony structure. Yeah, it's warm tonight, isn't it? Again. Nice breathing that I hear everywhere. That's good. Letting your breath go unimpeded, not forcing either the in or the out, just a nice, relaxed breath. Sometimes when I do this, like for 20, 25 minutes, at some point I start making sound actually, because it's like the body now is ready to release at maybe a more emotional level. David C, relax your shoulders a bit more. Back to the shoulders respond. There. So if there's any areas that have tension or they're getting crampy, if you focus on the cramp, it'll keep happening. Strangely enough. So as much as possible is finding maybe where you're holding the tension instead of the fact that it's cramping up, or changing the movement so that it's more relaxed, more, or that it is softer. So there should be a bit of a wave in the spine, a bit of movement. I feel it mostly up my head, especially when the heels are hitting the ground. We are doing right now. And then returning to frog bouncing on the pad, so the more softer version. So notice what happens in your spine, right? Much more flowing movement. And then stamping up. And returning to Uchi posture. So again, creating that posture, that bowl here, noticing what's happening with your lower back, your shoulders, your head, and where your weight rests in. So moving into the counter swing, imagining that you're holding bocce balls, right? So there's a natural, easy flexion in hands. One of the teachers I'm listening to right now talks about the dragon claws. It's the idea here. So in Aikido, we talk about how our body has natural angles. So when we're relaxed, there's a natural angle in the elbow, in the fingers, in the wrists. It's neither extended, closed. And the more we relax, the more this angle just happens naturally. So when the hands come up here, right, that these angles are not disrupted so much. If anything, in fact, the elbows sink more. So I'm focusing on letting the arm come up around the shoulder blade as opposed to doing anything like this. So sometimes where there's stiffness here, in order to move the arm, this is happening. So if you're noticing your shoulders moving, move the arms where you're able to move without lifting the shoulder. And as you focus on relaxing them, shoulders will relax naturally. So that's the arm movement. So then we drop on one side and then the other side. Breathing in when the arms come up and out as we transfer our weight to the other side. The two breaths as well help to slow down this motion so we can really focus on the transfer weight and the in breath. We'll breathe in once, twice, and out. 1, 2, out. We're releasing, of course, on the out breath, gathering new chi on the in breath, and using that to displace the old chi, the old gun that we no longer need. So clearly from our lungs, for sure, through the breath. And then as we move our arms, we're releasing through the palms. So with the hands held like this in a tiger claw or dragon claw, you could also imagine on the in-breath that you're gathering earth energy. You can gather it through your feet and also through your hands. And then breathing into center to complete. And then completing, you're finishing the exercise on the out. Okay, noticing what's different, correcting your posture as need be. But typically, it's where the weight falls that requires the most adjustment. When you do that, you'll find that the other positions in the body are easier to find. Now we're lining the structure. Moving forward. All right. Just starting with the finger. Moving the finger. So we'll do it deliberately first. Then hands and wrists. Letting the movement happen kind of like you're inviting it, but noticing that it might not be symmetrical. And so forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, and then let it enter the spine. It's much softer tonight. And then taking a deep breath and breathing in as you come up. You noticing the difference in the trembling horse? Like maybe because we did a lot of counter swing, is like it seems like there's less. Easier. Right? Ah, yeah. For some reason, it's a lot smoother tonight. It's warm in here, right? Huh? Mm. Okay. Okay, so now doing it a little bit differently, feeling the space in front of the fingers, so fingers of light, and noticing the movement that's there. And then letting your body inform the movement this time. So not so much moving it yourself, but it's going in and just being curious. It's definitely softer. And then letting it enter the spine eventually. And then breathing in. And in again as you up. Yeah, this is really noticeable for me tonight. Normally when I enter the spine, there's these little spark almost that happen. And tonight it's all smooth. Hmm. Hey, let's start it from the feet. The feeling. Okay, she said. So noticing in your feet, like whatever tension might be there, just as they connect to the floor. Right? So inviting the feet to release that tension and that connection to the floor. Notice where that movement wants to happen from the feet up into the ankles, legs, knees, and then letting it through your hips and spine. And then breathing in. And in and up. Whoa. So let's complete this first set of exercises by using bring down the heavens in the front. So allowing your innate wisdom to complete the impact of these exercises. Front of the body, back of the body. Hmm. And right through the core. Hmm. Live yang opening. Well, let's start slow on this. Reviewing for yourself, right? The movements. So in, breath, ear, belly out. And bringing the chi from the perineum up to Ming. And then on the out breath, letting the belly go in, the chi goes back to the perineum. Taking the time here to really open into all the components, and connecting with what the belly does, what the breath does, the arm movement, how your legs are moving, how the chi is coming from the perineum, moving one breath, and back down to perineum with a spin on the out breath. Maybe adding a little bit of upper body move, bending at the hips on the out breath as you bring the belly in. And bringing into center, first step to completion, and the out. Take a moment to adjust your posture. And going right into the 5 yin opening, breathing in. Engaging the vertebrae one at a time. Taking a wider stance if you need to, so that your heels remain on the ground as if you go deep into your squat. At the bottom, grabbing a big boulder. And then moving from your legs first. And when the movement enters the coccyx and the sacrum, reversing movement of the spine, the vertebrae. We'll make this third one the last one. Being breath, letting the hands go down, settle back into Uji posture. And right into the exercise for the lungs, the metal element. Okay, so the lungs are most affected by grief and sadness that remains. Grief and sadness are normal experiences of human beingness, and it remains stuck when it's there year after year. So any grief or sadness that feels stuck, on the out breath, give it room. So welcoming white, and on the out breath, imagine releasing that down your arms. And then breathing in white into the lung. Using this white to displace down your arm. So using the healing sound, the sealing sound. So the yang organ that goes with the yin organ that the lung is the large intestine. That's the yang. And the large intestine is mostly affected by guilt. There's not one shame, guilt and shame. Old stuff that's been there for you. imagine now that there's a connection between your large intestine and your lungs. And as you breathe out, that you're breathing out through the arms. Releasing anything that has the flavor of guilt, shame, sadness, grief. And welcoming white in its place on the in-breath. And then breathing in, white into the lungs, feeling it here for a moment, holding the nurturing aspect of white, the can imagine integrity in that white. That's the white builds integrity of your lung. Leo, what's the name I'm looking for? Integrity is what in the lung? Your comfort. And then continuing down into your large intestine. No, clarity comes with integrity, maybe too. So just to help with whatever grief has been released, let's open up the lung channel on the out breath and then bringing the breath in on the large intestine. So it's going down to the thumb and up from the finger and the index down to the thumb and out, and then bringing new energy through the index into the lung. And we're following now the flow of the meridian in the arm. So there's other meridians here, but we're focusing mostly from the elbow, the shoulder crease here down. And large intestine actually comes up all the way in the face. Breathing in as you come up and breathing out as you push towards the thumb and out through the thumb. Mm-hmm. And then going to the other side. Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Oh, and then we can step into the exercise for the kidney. The healing color for the kidney, which is the water element. So part of the water element is deep marine blue. The part of exercise when we come down at the end of our out breath, as we go into the in breath at the bottom, this is where we gather into like the deepest dark blue ocean you can imagine. And wisdom is what we're going to gather with that blue. The virtue. Took me a while. So the virtue of the element. Right? So integrity is the virtue of the lung, and then wisdom is the virtue of the water element. All right. And then the sound that we do with this is churi, and we're released from the kidneys. So the kidneys and Mingmen, their main function in our body is has to do with all stages of development. Right. So our fetal growth in our mother's belly, physical development, sexual maturation, reproduction. And I like to think as well, like when we enter our wisdom years, few of us in here, that it's also part of that as well, that it's involved in the next growth, the spiritual growth that we're called to do. So, and so the thing to know as well about where the kidney reside in the lower dantian, that this is known as the, well, oh, see, now I'm losing it again. So this is the, okay. So the lower dantian, I'll go with the explanations because I don't remember the name, is the most physical aspect of our spiritual existence, right? So this one, the center up here, relates more to our spiritual aspect. The center here, the lung and heart, have to do with our emotional aspect. So down to earth, if you want, if you would, but more in the sense that we're connecting here, heaven and earth. And then this center, the lower dantian, relates to the seat of consciousness. So it's the most physical aspect of what consciousness is, right down here, right where the kidney is. Right? A really important aspect of our physical being. Okay, so bring the palm up, closing the fingers over the thumb, placing that on the same kidney, breathing in here, and letting go of fear. I never got to what the emotion is. Fear and fright, maybe any cold that gets stuck in your body as well. You're really being aware of transferring that chi, that beautiful wisdom, dark blue, across your shoulders into the kidney. We'll get there. So as soon as you go into the out breath, it's where the churi can happen. But there's a lot happening there. As you get to the top, you're collecting the deep blue and the wisdom right here. As you're ready to enter the out breath, you can maybe focus first. Oh yeah, I need to collect that in my kidneys, and then go in the out. And then gathering this beautiful deep marine blue, letting it trickle down your arm. Churi. 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 You make the center in the arm. Breathing in if you need to. And attention to weight transfer to the other leg. Really keeping your body weight deep into each leg, switching to the other side. Sure. 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 That's one. Sure. Collecting as much wisdom, deep blue, and gather this time. Letting it trickle down your arm, across your shoulder. So we're 1 week away from the beginning of winter. Huh? Though we can't tell when it's 12 degrees outside. um, yeah, well, that part doesn't seem to change. That's a good thing. That means we're still going around the sun the same way for now. Yeah. Okay, so we can do a little exercise to just I don't think we've done this here. To seal the Dai Mai, which is the belt vessel. It starts at Ming Man, comes around to that bone in the front here, and connects right down here on the pubic bone. Yeah, so that ASIS here, and then so that bony structure up front. So there's like gallbladder points right here, and it ends at the symphysis pubis, or ends or connects there. So it's a circular thing. So if you bring your hands here and you just move, so again, notice how we're moving our hips here. So moving the hips as if the chi is circulating around that, or imagine the chi circulating around that belt vessel. Yeah, it does go because we're doing a bit of a circle. And then we can go the other way. This is a small circle of this. There's one that I like even more. We're really focusing on nourishing the kidneys and recognizing the circular pattern of this extraordinary vessel. So I'm going to bring our hands to one side, both hands, as if you're covering the kidney. Yeah, so you're going to be kind of covering like this or like that. If that's all you can do, that's fine as well. And then starting with the weight on this side, as you breathe in, you're going to gather chi from the environment around you, shifting your weight to the other side. And as you breathe out, you come around the belt vessel back to where we started. Breathe in, gather the chi into the other side kidney. Your weight should be on that leg now. And as you transfer your weight, you follow the belt vessel back to where we started. Big in breath, out breath. Big in breath, and breathe out, sending it into that. More on this side. Okay, so now start on the other side. So shift your weight to the other leg and breathe in and breathe out to where we started from. That's right. So bringing chi into the kidneys, right? Readiness toward the beginning of winter. And last time. About the center. Narrowing your stance if you need to. So the function of the liver, which is the next organ in this practice, is to move chi, to make sure that chi gets where it needs to get in the body. We'll focus on that tonight as the intent as we bring in. So the virtue that goes with the liver, interestingly, maybe let's start with the emotion. Emotion interferes with the proper flow of the liver is anything on the anger spectrum, from rage to simple annoyance. Oh, you're so annoying, right? So those are expressions of when my teacher said one time that even a small annoyance inside to the inner child is like a big rage. It's like, how dare you? How dare you stop me again? Maybe. Um, so, so the virtue though for the liver is compassion, having a willingness to see it from the other person's point of view. So knowing that though, we're gonna focus on as we breathe out, releasing on that anger spectrum, whatever is there, from annoyance to pull out, like, how dare you stop me? Sometimes it's more that the situation in life, you keep doing your best and the situation is not shifting, or we could explore that quite a bit, but that can be frustrating and that will interfere with the liver. So drawing the smile from one leg to the other, bring the smile below your feet. Notice that my body, I'm not doing any of this swinging back. It's very much here, right? It's body remains above the leg and then above the other leg. And then stop on one side. On this side is where you bring compassion. On the other side is where you push out what you no longer need of annoyance in your life. And you switch. Imagining as you do this that you're freeing the liver. So in fact, all our exercises, because we're moving our body, help. All these exercises help the liver. The more we engage our body, the more the flow in the body is easier. So that always helps with the liver. And of course, this exercise targets the liver in particular. Breathing breath. And the healing sound is shoo, 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 shoo. So imagine all this chi that we've gathered so far is being distributed in the body. Trusting that as you move, the chi that's needed in the big toe gets there. The chi that's needed in the hair gets there, and the ears. Two, 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 two. So the other thing too about the liver, any tension interferes with chi flow. So you want to find a place where this movement is gracious, full of compassion for yourself, for others. It's smooth, it's relaxed. You're not adding tension. You're inviting the body to move, inviting the liver chi to go where it needs to go by releasing expressions of anger, annoyance, irritability. And welcoming compassion, compassion, compassion. Shoo, shoo, shoo. And preparation for the heart exercise. We shift the movement to a nice walk. Along the path, we find the sun on the ground and we pick it up and bring it up to us. So the heart is most affected by not enough joy or manic. Joy is important in our life, and sometimes we don't express it, or don't have room to express it, or there's so much sadness in the lung that there's no more place for the joy, right? So all this middle dantian has a very important aspect of how we experience life on this plane. So as we turn to one side, pointing the toe in that direction, trying the sun up on this side, gathering chi, so gathering joy. There's another virtue here that I forget. As we breathe out, we bring all this energy through the heart, clearing the heart of obstruction to joyous expressions in our gathering maybe a light pink of wild rose and bringing that through the heart. Yeah, inhale here, exhale as you bring the sun through. Ah, that's the healing sound. Ah, 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 ah. So let's do one more each side. Ha, ha. Then returning to center on the next, and letting go of any extra heat you may have accumulated here, breathing in. And so for the sake of time, we're not going to go into the exercise for the spleen. It appears that I've been a bit slower tonight. We'll do 3 sources breathing. We'll bring that to our spleen in particular as we travel through. So the first breath we gather from the earth, bring that up, palms facing up here to the heart level, and then bringing it down to the lower dantian on the outer. Second breath we gather from the environment around us. So gather around here to the heart again, and to the lower down. In the third breath, we gather from the heaven. And bring that through the upper dantian, through this middle dantian, and into the lower dantian. Okay, so now that we know the movement, we'll repeat that. So gathering earth, energy, at the heart level. Now take a pause here and feel the area of the spleen, stomach, pancreas, and then taking that down. Gather from around us. So the spleen is about nurturing, about nourishing our connections with others, about truth, trust. We're bringing that in to the spleen. And so that's on the left side. And gathering from it. And again, bring that through the spleen. Lower down. Yes. Okay, and we'll complete with the golden bowel exercise. Bring our hands in front. And opening the center of connection with the earth, or between in the middle of the ball of your feet. Imagining drawing from the earth, a lot of chi, and bring it around right into your lower dantian. Not gonna go through the whole cycle, but just imagine it gathers there. Then open your crown as well, and let this chi come down all the way into the lower dantian as well. Gathering it there. And then on the next in-breath, bring it up your spine. With the heart, let it come down your arms and into the space in between your hands. Letting this fill the ball of chi in front of you. Feeling the connection to the earth, the heaven, which all it informs or fills this ball in front of you. Feeling the chi in between your hands. And then breathing in. And opening here on the out breath. Bring the arms back in on the in breath. Breathe out, arms come up. You open on the next in breath. And then you breathe in. He disperses. He gathers. Rises. Expands. Retreats. Comes in. Pushes out. Sends. One more time. And then send. Feeling that chi in between your hands again. And then bring it in. And breathing in white. Collecting white from all around you. Bringing then into your first Wei Qi field. Your physical Wei Qi field around your body that extends to much as 15 centimeters. All around. Beautiful winter sky blue, flame blue. Next breath. Second Wei Qi field, mental, emotional, that extends beyond the white to about 45 centimeters. And light pink, Rose quartz, the spiritual Wei Qi field that extends from the blue up. This one, let it go as far as you feel confident. Next breath, feel this bubble around. Bring your hands up at the top. And then draw all this energy through your crown, your heart. Stir it in here a little bit. And then all the way down to the lower down. And stir it in here. Mm. The class for tonight. Thanks for joining me tonight in practice. Really appreciate your participation.